How do I feel looking back on 25 years? I'm incredibly proud that we are still here as such a vibrant organisation.
We are a bunch of guys who literally learn the game by watching it on YouTube.
And they get hit, and they're like, I wasn't ready for that.
The sense of camaraderie and seeing that continue off the field.
Whereas in the first few years, it was kind of like, this could fall apart tomorrow.
All is in readiness here. The stars are out. The big stage is here. The red carpet is rolled out.
Looking forward to this, as we like to say, a humdinger.
And the question is, can you teach old dogs old tricks? This is a rematch of last year's grand final between the two sides.
They made the grand final last year, now a rematch. It was a slugfest.
Every single player on that team is a weapon.
I'll tell you what, if that doesn't make the hair stand up on the back of your neck, you might want to check your pulse.
So, hang on to a partner. This is going to get rough and ready. The two best sides here at the Nationals, the dream rising to the top in Prince fashion. And these boys are going to get it on. Smash mouth in the middle. And a fantastic mark in front by the number 12.
For the air, Coleman went for it. Look out, here comes trouble.
Sportscast, Courage Boom Opera out of the middle. Everyone goes down and gets funky.
Saying, calm it down. We got this. Let's take some good marks. Let's play some clean footy. That's where we shine.
And the umpire says, I may need to shovel the scraper off the ground. Osiris says, give me that ball. And she did. She took it away.
He tosses it to the heavens and the Lord says, go after it, my daughters, and play footy.
Inexperienced, a little bit probably nervous and over anxious. You've got to keep it plugging away. It'll come.
Yeah, no big tackle put in there, but it was high, just a little high around the shoulders.
Taken by the 24 for Minnesota. Freeman in the score. Here's the number 23. He's taken, played on, shoots, and scores! That is, we have some new kids on the block with regards to USAFL Nationals.
I love the fact that all these Americans love this sport.
And once again, a warm welcome back to Norco, California, just near Ontario, for the 2022 United States Australian Football League National Championships. This is Women's Division 1 Pool A, San Francisco versus the New York Magpies. And essentially, the winner of this game goes through to the semi-final against the second-place team from Pool B. And the loser, well, they go into the Constellation Finals. We are underway. It's Peter Holden with Lawrence Kosnechny here from the Portland Sockeyes and a former New York Magpie. Very good afternoon to you, Lauren. Hang on, let me turn your microphone up. That usually works well. We can hear you now.
Yes, thank you. I'm so excited to see the Magpies going at it with San Francisco here. This is a rivalry that dates back a very long time. A warm rivalry, but an intense one nonetheless.
Of course, going back to the times of the East-West tournament, as it's kicked away there by Green for New York. Green attack. Now, this is New York attacking to the right-hand side, and we said the toy toss was going to be crucial in this one, Lauren, that New York needed to win it, and they have, because we have a two-goal advantage breeze to the right-hand side.
Yeah, you want to capitalize on that as much as you can, get as many points on the scoreboard while you have that advantage, and winning those tap-outs is so huge. Both teams can maintain possession, so if they can start out of the middle with a strong attack, they have a good shot to get some points on the board.
And that's Jess Blecker that goes with a long kick as we speak, but Danielle Gallagher is going to be back there for the Magpies. He's going to kick up the line, find to mark, the player on the mark, player takes it and says, don't you go any further. I'm going to go back and take my free kick, thank you very much. And this is around about on centre wing in front of the tournament central, going up the line, just dropping it there and couldn't control it. The 49, I think that was, in Matilda Martin. The umpire awards the ball now to Blecker for San Francisco. Going long and up the line, looking for Nicole McKenzie. Ball got away from her. McKenzie might want another crack at this, being wrapped up closely. The umpire calls for a ball up. I think that might be Parker Sala who's got her. And the umpire will take the ball back. I guess if you're San Francisco, how do you want to line up with your defensive structure against this breed?
Yeah, you definitely want to be identifying those big targets. So Cricket, who I believe that was the target for that mark earlier with the helmet there, a big target. Nat Wolf out here, a big target. You just want to take them out of the contest as much as possible.
Jess Estrada went flying through. Gallard there as well for San Francisco. Gallard with a long kick floating sideways, putting the arms out. Samantha Wolf went through her hands, wants to go back in and get it again. Samantha Wolf. Here's a quick kick off the carpet. It's away to the right-hand side. And registers the first score. San Francisco 1, New York 0. That's San Francisco 1, New York 0. I guess the question is for New York, besides hoping the heavens open up, is how do you take away the skill, the effort that San Francisco have, well, dominated this division for the last 5 years.
Well, the good thing is that New York has some familiarity with a lot of their players. They know their weapons, they know who they're dealing with, and they have a lot of folks that can tag up really tight on those players and try to at least disrupt.
Taking it is Nick Paddywhack. Nick McKenzie now delivers inside 50, looking for Estrada. Estrada goes back again, got knocked off the football. Tackle being live by Parker Sala. Umpire Laurie Root pulls out a free kick and says it's going the way of the New York Magpies, and they'll take it out of defence with a high floating kick. Was trying to find Jenny Bowl, got knocked away from her. Ball on the ground, trying to come in for support, flying in Jenny Green. Hurry little kick around the corner. Waiting back there was Gallagher for San Francisco, got through her hands. Nat Wolf went in there as well, bumped off the football. Here comes Katie Klatt. Klatt overruns the football, goes back, gets it again, puts it on the right boot, wants to go inside 40 with the kick, trying to back there was Danielle Gallagher to put the hand up. Ball still on the ground, no one can get clear possession out at the moment. McKenzie, quick little hand pass to Klatt. Klatt working it sideways, managing to find Gallard. Gallard now going back, delivering it forward here. Vicky Powell trying to find Nicole McKenzie. McKenzie bumped off of it, riding with her is Danielle Gallagher. Going in there is Dre Casillas to lay the tackle, and it's all tied up at the moment. We'll call for a ball up. So very even contest so far at the moment, Lauren, but for New York, definitely not at the end of the ground they want to see it.
No, they need to get that ball out of there. But, you know, they know San Francisco's one of their key moves is being able to sneak the ball out of the back of a contest and have a clean possession. New York seems to be getting ahead of that a little bit, so they're keeping it out of the arc, so that's a win.
Yeah, trying to take it then was just Estrada and sneak it out the back, but she was unable to connect with anyone. Katie Klatt comes roaring in and gets Nat Wolf and puts Nat Wolf into the turf. Now getting a hurry kick away from that, Elise Gallagher. Ball is still being defended here, and as we speak, Nat Wolf's still on the ground, getting up very, very slowly as we speak. And in fact, she might be, I hope she's not concussed. She was putting her hand up, not feeling worse for wear. Just keep an eye on that if you can. Schnitz is going there as Doherty for San Francisco, just near the top of the goal square. Drake Casillas gets put into the ground. Umpire Laurie Root pins and says, we will call for a ball up, as it looks like an injury to Nat Wolf coming from the ground. She is hobbling and possibly a left leg injury.
Yeah, Katie Klatt's one of those people that you probably don't want to get hit by, but you know, the knee bends the wrong way. That can hurt a lot.
Now the umpire, Laurie Wolf, pays it, and then played on. There was Von Amon, sent back from once it came for San Francisco. Did it go through hands? Let's watch very closely here. And minor score. So it was touched. 2 behinds for San Francisco. No score for the New York Magpies. 2-0, but New York's stuck at the moment. What can Drake Casillas do from here?
She's just got to keep a cool head. It's very easy to get panicked when the ball is just kind of stuck in your back line and you're getting tired. A lot of running around, a lot of hard contests. So you got to keep a cool head, try and keep those skills clean, especially as the wind comes in and we're getting a little moisture in the air.
Ball on the opposite side of the ground, as umpire Laurie Roop says, holding the football, and it will be a free kick going the way of the New York Magpies. And they'll have it just in front of Tournament Central. We use a very elaborate name for that, but it's really a marquee and a table.
Hey.
As the kick goes up the line, just crashing her way through there, Robin Leslie. Ball hit the ground, waiting for it to come out the side here, Vicky Powell. Powell's a powerful car, apparently, if you listen to The Simpsons. Going in there again. There you go, tries to kick the ball on the carpet. Ball has just gone inside 50, still using the soccer skills to advantage. Now McCanzie. McKenzie gives the hand pass sideways, using Gallard. Trying to get it around the corner. Didn't work out well. Caden getting in also in there for the New York Magpies. Had it momentarily, Greg. And the umpire says she's going nowhere, no opportunity. We're going to call for a ball up. Very cool conditions here at Field 4. The temperature has dropped quite a bit in the Silver Lake Sports Complex. As the ball is thrown up in the air, punched towards the goal line for San Francisco, and it's in fact knocked out of bounds 1 metre around from that left-hand point post. I want you to put on the coach's hat at the moment for San Francisco here, Schnitz. How are you feeling at the moment? Yes, 2-0. Are you comfortable with your position, knowing you still got the breeze in that second half?
Yeah, I think maybe they might be a little panicked though, because they've had the ball on their forward line for quite a long time here, and they still haven't put one through the big one. So I'd be a little nervous.
I guess they just want to try and get on top of that. Estrada tried to get a kick away, but she got immediately put on the ground. And here's the snap out of the pack. And I think it's good. I think it's Martin who kicked it for the San Francisco Iron Maidens. Commentators curse perhaps.
They heard me and I jinxed it.
1-2-8 is San Francisco, no score, the New York Magpies. That's San Francisco 8, New York no score in this Pool A Women's Division 1 match. As we said, the winner of this Schnitz is going to go on to possibly take on the winner tomorrow of Seattle versus Denver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a good matchup there, whichever team goes through. Obviously, every single team is looking to take San Francisco out of the contest, and that's a big order, a tall order. So if New York can do it, I bet the other teams will be pretty happy.
Elise Gallagher takes the ball out of the middle here for the San Francisco Iron Maidens, kicks it in towards the centre half forward position. Nicole McKenzie comes flying at it, trying to get the hand pass was Von Amon over the top. Hurry little hack job kick out of there by Danielle Gallagher, really went nowhere. And trying to get a hurry kick off the carpet there is Lalisa Silvio. Ball is now switched around the corner only as far as Vicky Powell. And Powell with the football. Still in the centre square. Gets on the right boot. Wants to go inside 50 with the kick. Was trying to find Silvio. Came off hands. Opportunity here for Gallard. Away to the right-hand side. Won't make the distance. Came off hands. Plenty of players there for San Francisco. Colleran is one of them. Up against the boundary line. Quick little hand pass out. The umpire said throw just as Blecker was going to take it. And it will be in the hands of the one and only Drake Casillas. Am I correct? 18 years of playing women's footy?
I mean, I think so. I've been playing for about 9, and she had already been around for a pretty long time before me. So it's pretty amazing, and she still looks like she's 25.
Yeah, like she can play for about another 15 years.
I don't know what that secret is.
And at a very good level, can I say, as well. As now taking the football and kicking around the corner is Greg. Only for it to be intercepted. Mark taken out there by Jess Blecker I'm told powered by a couple of packets of Allen snakes as she kicks inside 40. We won't reveal her source of those snakes. And here's the hurry kick off the ground. I think it's another one for San Francisco. How does it look? No. Or is there a free kick because Laurie Roop is pointing? And yes, it is a free kick. So it is going back to Drake Casillas. So hold on to your hats. Casillas will give it to her teammate. 1-2-8 San Francisco, no score for New York. That's 8-0. San Francisco's way. It's taken away by Taylor Davidson, who wanted to try and get it out of defence. Greg wanted to get in there as well. Danielle Gallagher one more time. Estrada, she's dangerous. Gave up the hand pass link for McKenzie, was flying through, couldn't receive. Hurry kick around the corner, good mark. And that's taken by Jenny Bowl. And Bowl now will go for a run and kicks it around the corner. Katie Klatt, whoop, bounced off Katie Klatt's hands. Musser was chasing afterwards, getting back there was Savannah Green. And Green kicked it in towards the middle of the ground, but look out, coming through here is Nat Wolf. Great to see her back on the ground. Wolf goes inside 50 and managing to knock it away. Now, is that Cricket Temple?
That's Cricket Temple.
We're in the 42, not listed on our sheet there. As the ball goes out towards the centre wing position. Foot race is on out here. Blecker wants to try and get to it first. Keating was going with her. Kading going with her. And the umpire blows the whistle and says the ball is out of bounds. We'll call for a throw in.
Yeah, New York has finally managed to get over that wall, so they really need to lock it in here and make sure that they don't lose this opportunity.
Nat Wolf pointing out directions here. They do have some space to work with. And their kick, well, went past Hemingway, which would have been a good target. And Maglione is back there who takes it. And now she kicks in towards the middle of the ground. Now picking up there, Gallard. Ball pinging around. Who can get clean possession as Jenny Bowl wanted to put her head over it. Went without it. Hurry kick in the Blecker direction. She'll take it. The former Portland Sockeye and former Collingwood VFLW player.
We miss you, Jess.
Portland's goat, they call her. The greatest of all time at Portland.
Baby goat. Not a baby anymore.
Kicks it in towards the half-forward flank position. Now Blecker, who's chased it up. Some great running and some great foresight.
Yeah, San Francisco just stands out so much with their ball delivery. I mean, you could not ask for a more perfect kick and more perfect location, and the patience of that forward line.
Kaylee Martin from 30 metres out, directly in front. The goal umpire has to do a bit of work and says it's minor score. 1-3-9 San Francisco, no score New York. That's 9-0. And I don't know, if I feel the conditions around here, I reckon as much as I can see the flags flapping in the breeze, it doesn't feel like that 2 to 3 goal breeze that we had earlier.
Yeah, it seems to have calmed down quite a bit in the past 5 minutes or so.
They did warn about a big storm coming, so maybe that might be an ominous sign. We are told, by the way, that for this to constitute a match, if a storm did roll in, at least a half has to be played. So if we get to half-time, it constitutes a match, even if one side obviously has a 10-goal breeze at their back. So you get to half-time, and we have a game that can go in the books. So the Magpies now with an opportunity, putting in the direction of Hemingway. He copped it in the back from Klatt. Hemingway gets put into the ground by Klatt. Got rid of the hand pass. Play on. Hurriedly put on the boot there by McCaskill. And the ball has gone out of bounds on the full. And a free kick going to the San Francisco Iron Maidens. Boundary umpire yelling at New York, saying get behind the line. Vicky Powell has the resulting free kick. And Powell looking to go for the pass to McKenzie. Cut off. Great mark.
Yeah, New York has their Johnny-Janey combo there. A couple of Aussies that just are really holding it down out there in the midfield.
Katie Klatt again puts it on the left boot. That's an awkward spiralling football. Nearly falconed Nicole McKenzie, but she managed to drag it in. And McKenzie has the football about 60 metres out from home. Half forward flank, broadcast side. You're on USAFL.com. Goes long up the line, looking for Estrada. Knocked away from her hands. From Casillas. Talk about experienced campaigners. Estrada versus Casillas.
Yeah, and out here we got Hemingway Klatt. got a little taste of that. I'd like to see a little bit more of that. Former teammates.
Do you reckon at some stage during the game it's a bit quiet? They just point to the field. They go, "These youngsters, what do they know?"
I do that already, and I've been playing not even as long as people like Drea. So.
Katie Clark goes across to Mackenzie. Mackenzie tries to get to Elise Gallagher. Oops, nearly sold Sarah Maggie on up the creek. Now manages to get it back to Elise Gallagher. Elise Gallagher going inside 40, and the mark taken.
Yeah, you can't leave Brett Brower wide open there.
25 metres out on a 45-degree angle. Brett Brower, of course, named to the All-World team back at the 2017 International Cup. Brett Brower comes in, unloads. The breeze will push it to the right, and it will register as 1 point. So 1-4-10 to no score. 10 to no score. San Francisco leading New York in this Pool A game, which essentially is acting as a de facto elimination final. Dre Casillas goes for a run and says, I'm just going to boot this as far as I can. And she'll gain some meterage on it. It'll gain about 65, 70 metres for her team. But plenty of numbers back there for San Francisco, including Jess Blecker. Blecker kicks it towards the top of the goal square. Brett Brower is being left all alone, but the ball did an ugly, ugly turn on her. Wiped out a New York player on the way through. Dress Estrada doesn't like to go for the goal. Gives it off instead to Nicole McKenzie. Knick-knack, paddywhack. How does she go? Nicole McKenzie misses to way to the right for a minor score.
Yeah, New York's got to really get some accuracy with clearing it out here. San Francisco has this wall set up, like I said before. It's very hard to get over that, and when you do, you got to make the most of it. And the way you do it is with some accurate kicks with the kick out here.
1-5-11 to no score. That's 11 to no score. San Francisco leading New York as the ball is brought back into play. McKenzie put the hands up there. It's going to be taken away by Greg for New York, only for it to be intercepted. And this is taken by Moy Moy. And Sienna Moy Moy now gives off the hand pass, taken by Elise Gallagher. Of course, the two Gallagher sisters playing today, one for either side. And delivers now for an opportunity for Sylvia, away to the right-hand side, and will register as a minor score. 1-6-12 is San Francisco. No score New York, 12-0. But, you know, this is interesting. If this was the score into the breeze, you go, well, remember what happened to Seattle? Seattle, of course, lost that game 1-5 to 5-1. Same amount of scoring shots with Minnesota, but Minnesota were more accurate.
Yeah, it just takes, at this point, you know, a couple goals. They're back in it. So they just got to keep their head up, keeping that defensive pressure on, and I'm sure Christina Licata will have some adjustments at halftime.
Well, only Silvio takes the mark and then kicks it in the direction of, I think it's Colleran to take the mark out there on the forward pocket. About 30 metres out from goal in front of the Watch AFL scoreboard. That's watchafl.com. And has it and will go for a run. Kicks it towards the goal square. Will come off the hands of Casillas for a minor score. 1-7-13 San Francisco. New York no score. 13-0 San Francisco lead New York. So far out of the women's divisions, Schnitzchen, of course, you've played in a couple of games. Has anything surprised you so far?
I'm so excited to be playing in D2 this year with a bunch of combo teams. So we have a lot of new teams that are rebuilding, a lot of teams with a couple of players. I've just been so impressed with how much people are gelling, how quickly, and how open everyone is to kind of just playing, having a run, and having a good time.
Brett Brower waiting for the ball out the back, going with her. Nat Wolf. Brower gives it off to McKenzie, put on the afterburners, got away from two. McKenzie gives it off to Jess Estrada. The experienced goal sneak pulls it to the left. 1-8-14 to no score. San Francisco 14, New York no score. As they'll bring the ball out from full back, and they've obviously made the change because Casillas not taking the kicking out duties. And, this could bite them back in the backside very quickly. The snap on goal is across the face for a point. And Laurie Roop hasn't noticed. Now this is an interesting situation. That won't count as a goal because the goal umpire was waiting between the point post and the goal post to catch Laurie Roop's attention to say the ball has already gone over the line. So it will only be 1 point. He, of course, cannot signal one behind until Laurie Roop gives the all clear. So that's why it's a point. Even though you saw Estrada kick it through the sticks, the ball had actually already gone through and bounced out, but the field umpire hadn't seen the goal umpire yet to give the acknowledgement. So 1-9-15 to no score. 15-0, San Francisco lead New York. Mark taken. calling for it short here is Danielle Gallagher. They can get it across to her, but some excellent pressure put on here. Sees the ball go over the boundary line and out of bounds for a throw. And under pressure on that situation was Janie Bowl. So we wait for it to be thrown back into play between centre wing and the half-forward flank position. Moi went up in that contest. Jenny Bowles going to get to it first. Got to spin around. Gallagher was there. They almost ran into trouble. Ball they call. No, says the umpire. Fury going backwards. Katie Klatt, Hemingway. Now the kick long towards centre half forward. Oh, got out the back to Martin. Martin had to get rid of one. Then kicked it to Collaren's position. Wanting to get onto it here, Collaren. Her shot at goal looks pretty good. I think you can hear the Iron Maidens in our mic downstairs, which will tell you everything.
Yeah, Iron Maidens in front here. Yeah, they got to feel good about that. They've been hammering away for the whole half. Nice to get one through for them.
2-9-15 San Francisco, no score New York, so 15-0 San Francisco lead New York. And as we've said, Snitz, San Francisco, as we hit the halftime siren, they're of course trying to break the record. Denver have won 6 in a row. If San Francisco win this year, they will tie it. And no doubt, I think some of their more senior players will go, okay, I'm going to go around for one more so we can get number 7.
Yeah, leaves one more year before you retire. That's certainly a tempting reason to stick around for San Francisco players.
I just wonder quietly how many of their older players were like, if they'd lost after 2 or 3 in a row, they would have said, yeah, time to hang up the boots. But just that carrot hanging out there of trying to catch and surpass Denver is like, I'll go one more. I'll go one more.
Oh, yeah. And then, you know, even when they hit it, it's a pretty hard sport to step away from. Speaking as someone who's married to a soon-to-be 48-year-old who is still having a kick with the 22-year-olds and doing a pretty good job. Yeah, it's hard to walk away from this community.
2-9-21 to no score. 21-0 San Francisco lead New York. Peter Holden and Lawrence Snetchny with you. Snetchny, I'll get it right, Snitch. That's why we call you Snitch.
Yeah, Lawrence Schnitz.
Now, Schnitz, I'm going to put the coach's hat on you for New York. You know some of the New York players very well. What moves are you starting to do on the chessboard? What are you starting to consider? Because you're at gambling time now.
Yeah, I think I saw what Coach Christina Licata did, putting Nat Wolf back there to take some of those kickouts, trying to get a little power out of those kickouts to try and get it over that wall that San Francisco is setting up. You know, with that, though, you need to make sure that you have that accuracy. Johnny Bull is a great target. He's already taken a couple good marks. But she just needs to have options pretty quickly. She likes to play on, to have options pretty quickly into that half-forward line.
I wonder what the question is, what you do with the likes of... I mean, I look at Kim Hemingway because Klatt's gone to Hemingway. The problem is, if you do move Hemingway, does Klatt go with her? And do you really want that to happen? Do you want that just to be a negative contest? And, you know, as much as you want Kim's impact on the contest, you say, look, Kim, we need you to kind of stay away from the contest to try and drag Klatt away to help us in that. Or do you just got to go, well, you're just going to send Katie with you. You're just going to have to beat her one-on-one. Do you try and push? I mean, we already saw Hemingway starting to push more up the ground. Do you use that as a tactic? You know, Gallagher's been getting a lot of the ball. Casillas, again, like you said, didn't take the kick out. Do you put Casillas on the ball?
Yeah, I mean, she's got the cool head and the footy intelligence to be able to deliver the ball to the place where they can best optimize on that moving forward. So that'd be great to get her just kind of crumbing around the ball in that back line. I think in terms of the Hemingway-Klatt matchup, I think Hemingway has maybe an advantage on the high contest, Klatt an advantage on the low contest. So you just got to make sure that you're putting them in a place where they can actually get the ball delivered the way that they both want to. So that's kind of interesting, where who follows whom and when they let them go and take off on their own.
And the interesting theory is, of course, for San Francisco, let's say we go, I don't know, 5-10 minutes in the second half, and this lead is holding at 21 points, and you have the breeze. Are you comfortable as a coach of considering at that 5 to 10 minute mark of, all right, our key players, our big on ballers, Elise Gallagher, Jess Blecker, Nicole McKenzie, do we start to pull them from the ground to say, okay, job's done, stay fresh, we got 2 games tomorrow?
Yeah, you know, if it were me, I think if you get to a 30-point margin, that's a good time to start thinking about resting your you know, some of your heavy hitters. But at this point, you know, there's still maybe 4 goals. It's possible they can be reached. But yeah, I think once you get to that 30-point mark, it kind of puts it a little bit more out of reach, and you can start to give a rest to some of your key players for tomorrow.
as both sides coming in there. And the one thing I noticed when I saw San Francisco and Sacramento, just as a supporter's point of view, Katie Klatt is the one that takes charges at the huddle.
Yeah, I mean, she's bringing that experience from Australia that you cannot get anywhere else. So she brings that intelligence, that energy, and yeah, same, just like Dre, that cool head.
Yeah, again, it's an interesting thing, isn't it? And I'm not just talking from the physical aspect of what they bring on the field, Jess Blecker and Katie Klatt both being in the VFLW system, but I guess the IP of not just talking right now, but what they do at training and how they say at trainings when players come along. And to be fair, you do need good numbers coming to trainings to be able to do these drills. But the drills that they can run to say, like, this is what we learnt at the next level and this is what we need to do.
Yeah, I mean, even when I toured with the Liberty in 2017, just playing local clubs, just training, we trained with the Aussie Sparks, it's you pick up so much just from being in that world and seeing how games are run that I mean, you cannot, there's no better tool than that. You cannot substitute for that. So if you have a player on your team that's had that experience, that's been able to play those games, I mean, that is such an asset to have.
Of course, you know, in an ideal fantasy world, hello, Simon Hyland from the AFL. If you're listening, open the checkbook, please. Thank you. Considering the AFLW has actually moved its season, it's now running from August to November, December. As much as unfortunately that means those players can't come to this tournament here, it does mean they're kind of free in March and April, and some of the players aren't working part-time. Some are actually on good Tier 1 contracts and side jobs at their clubs, so essentially you could call them full-timers. That's a limited number of them. I mean, how important would it be if those clubs or the AFL could fund some of those players, like we saw with Jess Wuchner when she came out to Boston, to be able to fund some of those players to come out, and at least for the clubs that are struggling or still growing but have got good numbers, to say, look, we can embed you in these clubs for a month or so and just help them and how this has got to run.
Yeah, like I said, that is invaluable. That there's nothing that can replace that footy knowledge of somebody who's played in Australia. And I think, you know, there's such a market here too for women's sports that I think that getting some AFLW players over here, you know, promoting our sport as much as we can. I think that there's a lot of potential fans out here, both for the USAFL and the AFLW. So, Simon's listening?
Yeah, Simon there. Have you got the checkbook or the credit card? Is the credit card good? We'd certainly always love a little bit more money to help and get things really pushing along. Because as Danny Marshall has shown, American women can hang in the AFLW.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, I've always found that all of the athletes that have come over are just so excited to share the sport that they love. I mean, it's only been a few years since they're playing at the professional level, but these women are just so hungry, so passionate, and they're so amazing to have around. The ones that I've met have been such gems.
So we're underway for this second half. 2-9-21 San Francisco, no score New York. Lawrence Kuznechny, otherwise known as Schnitz, along with Peter Holden with you in commentary for this final game on the first of our 2 days of the USAFL National Championships. Of course, we should say thanks to Coopers, who've been a proud partner of the league since the 2000 Nationals in Los Angeles, and Tasmanian, the new sponsor. And the scoreboard is thanks to Watch AFL. Danielle Gallagher goes chasing for the football, almost ran over it as Fury now picks it up for San Francisco. Gave up the quick hand pass. I think it was Glad who slammed the boot on the ball and got it inside 40. Trying to pick it up there, Silvio immediately wrapped up, coming in from the side. And laying the tackle there. 33, I think it is, so I don't have... No, 83, Aria Lockett, pardon me, to hold the ball up there. And the umpire says a free kick's being given away, and it's going the way of Lalane Silvio, formerly of the LA Dragons, and then for a short time with the Denver Bulldogs. Silvio picks up the football on the burst, draws the player, goes for the hand pass, just trying to keep the ball in front of herself, Gallard, and the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. They're almost asking for a deliberate.
Yeah, you can tell she's Australian. The deliberate.
Yeah. As the ball is thrown back into play. Tap down. Amy Arundel, used to be, if I remember correctly, Philadelphia, formerly a Philly.
Yes, originally a Philly Hawk.
Now playing for the New York Magpies.
And playing most of the time in Germany, actually.
Well, there you go. And they've got a good competition there in AFL Germany. And I think they finished third, if I'm correct, in the AFL European Championships, the German Eagles, just held recently. Here's the kick by Fury. Tried to center up the football, was spoiled. Klatt, charged her way through, and then kicked it long inside 50. Estrada managed to get out of that scrap. Gave it across to McKenzie. Gave the don't argue, and McKenzie kicks the goal. San Francisco go to 3-9-27. New York no score. 27-0. San Francisco lead New York. And that's just a couple of experienced campaigners mentioned there. Silvio, throwing Estrada, and Nicole McKenzie, who just went, get away from me with that slap, and then kicks an easy goal.
Yeah, you gotta land those tackles. I think New York knows that, but once you get tired, you get a little hungry and maybe frustrated. It's a little bit harder to land those, but San Francisco has that experience and, like I said, those cool heads to just be able to take that one step that you need to dodge it.
Ball now back in the middle of the ground and having to dodge and weave around his Fury, and the ball got knocked away. Coming in there, Cricket Temple tries to fire at the hand pass to Hemingway. Hemingway does so successfully. Now using Kading. Kading kicks around the corner towards the half-forward flank position, only for it to be intercepted. I think the safest thing to say is the San Francisco Iron Maidens are the fastest side in women's D1.
Yeah, I mean, they just have so many weapons, so many fresh legs, and they have so many people to rotate through. So we see Jess Bucker's off here for a spell. I mean, to be able to have her on your sideline, not have her in, is pretty amazing.
Cricket Temple comes in and lays a big tackle on the umpire, says holding the football. So it's a free kick going the way of the New York Magpies. Cricket Temple will have the football. Start of the day playing in D2 as a New York reserve, and now been up to D1. Taking the mark and coming out there is Lara Mossa.
Dino.
Lara Mossa with the football. She's probably about 50 metres out from home and desperately needs someone to lead to her. Went in the Hemingway direction, missed her, and a mark taken there for the Iron Maidens in defence. And they go with a chip little kick there. That's from Savannah Green. They'll come out of defence here with a long kick. New York Magpies there do have numbers, and that's taken by Danielle Gallagher, who now kicks it in the direction of Hemingway. Just went over her head. Might be Sarah Maguillon back there, who comes back in board. Mark taken. Defensive side of centre. They're looking left, they're looking right, and they see someone on here, and that's Nicole McKenzie. McKenzie comes flying out towards the football with space. Now the kick in the Estrada direction. Went through Estrada's hands. Goes back to try and get it again. Hand pass out. All locked up momentarily. Not quite. Zelgozin loses control of it. In there is Casillas, and once again we'll call for a ball up. I might have to do some research how old exactly Nicole McKenzie is. We don't have like the full notes of weight, age, and all of that. What we do at the professional level, and we have time to. We essentially just get our team sheets 5 minutes before the game. That's unfortunately how it works in a tournament format. Because you go, the speed and the skill of Nicole McKenzie, you go, I wonder actually how she would go in Australia.
Yeah, I'm not telling anybody how old I am, so I don't blame them.
Remember, this is streaming. You can lie if you like.
I'm honest. 37 and still playing, so.
Oh, okay. I would have used 25. I'm happy to take bribes as the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds in front of the tournament central tent, which we'll see for a throw-in. But Nicole McKenzie has said, like, the speed and the skill that she's got, be really interesting to see how she went at VFLW level, like Jess Blecker had played a few years ago.
Yeah, and you get some of these players that, especially when they have such a solid foundation that a team like San Francisco gives them, they come in with those skills, but more importantly, that athleticism, and you find a good fit, they can pick those skills up real quick and really, really do well.
Kicking around the corner then is Doherty to try and square it up, wants to find Gallard, who put it on the right boot and finds Leilani Silvio. So Silvio with the football. Formerly played in the US Liberty, back in the International Cup Tour, we should call that, of 2017. Estrada now takes it, gets it on the right boot, towards the top of the goal square. Plenty of players there. Here's a quick kick off the carpet. And the goal umpire says that's a minus score to Brower, who looks back on, doesn't matter, your team's up. 3-10-28 to no score.
Yeah, we saw Lonnie with the ball there. She started in LA, has played with a couple different teams, played in Denver a little bit, and I think when we heard that she was going to San Francisco, the rest of us in the league let out a, oh, man.
It's like going to the stronger side. Don't worry, we've seen that happen where I think Ebony Marinoff in the AFLW won the NAB Rising Star, won a premiership with the Adelaide Crows. She goes, I'm going to go across and play in Victoria. Where are you going to? Oh, Darebin Falcons. Oh, man. It's like the stronger get stronger.
I've been making a lot of hard sells for how great a place Portland is to live right now to some of these great players.
As the ball goes through for another minor score, 3-11-29. 29 leading 0. 29 leading 0. San Francisco over New York. Well, yeah, go to Stumptown. It's a heck of a lot cheaper than San Francisco.
You know, and so, yeah, someone was like, oh, maybe I'll move to Seattle. And I said, you know what's cheaper in the same landscape? Portland.
Thank you. The kick came in from full back. Now half-back flank here for the Iron Maidens. Pardon me, for New York Magpies. Hemingway came out to meet the contest. Elise Gallagher, hurry kick. Receiving it there is Greg. Kicks in towards the middle of the ground. That might be Sarah Maggion who's got the football, delivers, and that's a nice pass. Play almost got wiped out there. They have the ball on the half-back flank. A little bit of a shank kick, though. Oh, Blecker came in and nearly took out the player in green on the way through. Now the high kick, looking for Gallard again. Had it momentarily, lost control of it as Meg Ford went with her. Blecker broke one tackle, almost broke a second as she was trying to get it to Mania, who's been actually rather quiet. Now to Gallard. Gallard kicks it towards the top of the goal square for Bauer, who dropped there, wants to try and go off the ground. Did it get touched through? It didn't. Brett Bauer has kicked an amazing goal.
Oh, and, you know, Nat back there contesting so hard. Honestly, two of the greatest people in the world to hang out with as well. So, you know, they're going to pick each other up and give each other a high five at the end of the game.
4-11-35, San Francisco. New York, no score, 35-0. And I think this has got a sting for New York. I honestly thought they were coming in to this year's tournament with numbers, and they probably would have thought, right, this is the year we're a chance to take it to San Francisco. And the scoreboard suggests otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard run. That's a hard setup to be kind of win this game or you're out for them. So that's a tall order that you have to beat San Francisco or you're out. Not any kind of a second chance or anything. So that's tough.
And to be fair, they copped the cruel end of the draw as well as the ball's very close towards the boundary line. It's been kept in by Greg, who then got it across to Meg Ford, who went up the line. Katie Klatz now got the football, very close towards the interchange, goes with a long kick up the line, bounces towards the half-forward flank. Silvio is coming after it, can't quite keep it in play. Now manages to go back and pick it up, almost falls over, but got the hand pass away. Now Jess Blecker slammed it on the right boot, close towards the forward pocket. Brower going after it with Nat Wolf, and the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. As you said, they copped the cruel draw. They were literally a 9 a.m. game this morning. They were first off the rank, but because there's only 3 teams in Pool A, they then had to wait for 7 hours to playing this match.
Yeah, I mean, and just to sit there and think about how you're taking on San Francisco for 7 hours, I mean, that's a tough one for sure.
And the weather dropped, so I don't know if some like to sit in the warmth or some like to sit in the cool, but might not help the muscles exactly this cold weather spell that all of a sudden's come from out of nowhere in California.
Yeah, we got the Northeastern team though, so you know, maybe it might give them a little bit of an advantage for the second half.
Green now to Gallard. Gallard now goes long, looking for Blecker. Knocked away from her hands. Going with it is Emma Kading. Kading with a kick.
Nice to see Emma Kading getting involved. She is such a good player. She is so quick, and she's quiet in the first half, but man, when the ball gets around her, she's so great at extracting it and getting it away.
Gallard goes towards an empty goal square, bouncing out the back. Casillas is going to get there. She's got company going with her, and Casillas spun out of trouble. She's got the 70s dance moves. Don't worry about that. Her kick, though, doesn't find anyone. There's just simply no numbers. Elise Gallagher is going to kick it towards the top of the goal square, putting her hand in at the crucial moment. Emma Kading, ball hit the ground. Going to try and have a crack at it there was Hargrave, ripped off the football. Now's a hurried snap out of the pack, and that's a goal. I think that was by Coleraine. And they pile on another one, San Francisco. 5-11 on the scoreboard. So 5-11-41 leading New York no score. 41 to no score. My goodness, what they did to Sacramento earlier and what they've done to New York. I think they've just sent a subtle message to, well, really to Minnesota, who's at the moment top of Pool B, of try and catch this.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting matchup. I think a lot of new people in Minnesota that maybe San Francisco isn't used to playing against. So I think that'll probably be Minnesota's biggest asset. They don't necessarily know who those big weapons are, and so it'll take a little while to figure out those matchups.
And to be fair, they actually have some runners. When you think about Catherine Oha, when you think about Christina Georgiadis, you know, they've got some players who can run the ball.
Yeah, the matchup will be super, super interesting because you do have the same thing as San Francisco, that combination of those experienced school head players.
But of course, DC still technically has a say against Minnesota tomorrow, and Denver and Seattle, whoever wins out of that game, will front San Francisco, and they will have a say.
That's true, and you know what? Anything can happen on day 2.
We've seen some upsets in the past, a la Seattle-Denver in 2018. As we wait.
Yeah, and after that good night's sleep, you know, you either wake up refreshed or wake up unable to move, and that might be me tomorrow. So
with Hemingway, who kicks it long looking for Cricket Temple, and the ball is out of bounds. Or we don't know if mysteriously a brass band is going to show up outside the hotel of the San Francisco Iron Maidens and just play into the long hours of the night.
Yeah, what's the investment you're going to make?
As the kick is long out of defence for the San Francisco Iron Maidens. And we'll see the ball go over the boundary line and out of bounds in front of the tournament central tent. You've been watching this broadcast thanks to Coopers and Tasmanian. And our scoreboard for Watch AFL as the hand pass over the top. Now, hurry kick around the corner there by Margaret Leone. New York will send it back from whence it came with a big bomb. Klatt was trying to wait for it. Loyola tried to get on the end of it for New York. And the ball has gone over the boundary line and out of bounds, and we'll see a throw in. Game just dying out here with probably about 5 or 6 minutes to go until the full-time hooter. Light rain is falling at Silver Lake Sports Complex.
Yeah, you wonder if New York would have wished for this weather maybe a little earlier, because it has certainly changed the tide. Once those skills drop, that's they play some real scrappy, tough footy.
As the ball is kicked towards the pocket. Klatt was there, also there getting a kick away, Savannah Green. But it hasn't got out of the defensive 40 arc. Ball hit the ground, watching on at the side, Meg Ford. But again, San Francisco. The hurry kick out of defense, trying to stop it there. Casillas to send it back in. Intercepted. The kick, they got Blecker go at the side of Lee Gallagher if she wants to go there. Instead, she wants to go over the top to Leilani Silvio. And Silvio is going to try and run over the football, and that's what she does. Silvio runs to 50, game enough to take a bounce.
Bounce in the rain.
Silvio still going, on the angle, goal of the day! Leilani Silvio with the wet football.
Wet football and a bounce and a kick on a tough angle. Man, that was beautiful. She's going to be proud of that one.
I know a lot of Americans aren't game to bounce the ball. They want to do the tap on the ground. But Leilani said, I've got the confidence to back myself in, and she made it look like a walk in the park.
Yeah, I've seen her do that quite a bit. She knows how to bounce a footy, and yeah, that confidence, and she had that space, that cool head.
47-0. That's 6-11-47 to New York 0. She gets the big pats on the back, and you can see the rest of the players. I can see Estrada waiting there on the boundary line as well, alongside Brett Brower. So they've done it. They've put the players on ice, knowing that the points are in the bag, and they are going into semi-final stage against second place from Pool B tomorrow. And you'll catch that game on USAFL.com with our live stream from Field 4. Looking for Elise Gallagher here. Went through her hands. Blecker. Can't stop this player who just got absolutely bowled over for New York.
Janie Green.
Green did well. Oh, that's a throw. And I think Laurie Root might have just been on the wrong angle for that one.
Happens. It happens.
Gallagher. Hand pass. This time using Vicky Powell. Powell looking for Mackenzie. Casillas putting the hand out. Did well. Overrunning it there. Green. Just clapping the ball in front here. Robin Leslie gets it over the top. Now using Blecker, who will kick it towards the top of the square. Getting back there, Samantha Wolf will huff and puff and blow your house in to Nat Wolf, who then goes long. Mark taken there and trying to dance her way out of it. Jenny Bowles, he coughed it up. Umpire says, yes, she has. And that is holding the football for a kick going the way of the San Francisco Iron Maidens. And if I was playing cricket right now, I'd call for the light.
Yeah, I know. It's getting, I guess, the storm clouds coming in. But, yeah, it's getting a little dark out.
Kicks it long towards the half-forward flank, forward pocket position, rather. Trying to go for a snap around the corner. He's going to fall short. And mark on the last line of defence for the Magpies only go as far as Blecker. But I was just calling some names then earlier, like when I called out the name of Robin Leslie, and it makes you think, geez, there's a couple of players who've been absolute stars of San Francisco that have been quiet today, but not in a bad way, as in there's just so much depth in the San Francisco side. It's like, well, it doesn't matter. You don't have to play out of your guts like you have in years gone by.
Yeah, and I think, it's the work that some players like Robin Leslie do, they're clearing paths, they're taking players out, they're making space, they're setting that intensity. So some of the stuff you can't always see, but it makes such a difference.
7-11-53 San Francisco, no score New York. That's 53-0 San Francisco leading New York. Yeah, like Margaret Leone and Sarah Maggione, of course, they're playing in defence and the ball was hardly getting back there. But, you look at those players going, geez, I remember them being with Robin Leslie, being absolute ball magnets in some of their earlier championship wins in their flags in 1, 2 and 3. But like I said, the sides evolved so much, they don't have to worry about relying on them.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, how many different names have you said for the San Francisco Iron Maidens today? Just a lot of people doing the work all around. And for New York as well.
And you think about the names that are on the bench, like Carly Smolak, who used to play, Julia Mama Marks, Bevan English as well. Geez, if you imagine if they were all still playing.
Yeah, and like we were talking about, just that experience and that knowledge, and by the way, it's just great to see Carly and T matching up as coaches. So exciting just to see American women leading really good American women teams.
As we find the football out on the half-forward flank position, Vanny Nguyen goes down, hand pass came out. It was courtesy of a player we were talking about earlier, Margaret Leone. He might have to go back and offer some support to Vicky Powell, who kicked it long and up the line. So, see, that's two names that stood out today, Powell and Gallard, that I've never called before anyway, with the San Francisco Iron Maidens. Mind you, I wasn't at last year's Nationals either, because obviously of the COVID situation and the little old pesky borders being closed.
Yeah, they don't need more tools. Come on, move to Portland.
I tell you what, I would be interested as this kick goes long and the ball has gone out of bounds on the full, how a San Francisco Iron Maidens team itself would go against some of the teams, say, from the AFL London competition, or Germany's got a competition up and running. I'd be really interested to see a club v club matchup, because they do have, obviously, the AFL Euro Cup, not the Euro Cup, the Champions League, AFL European Champions League around about April every year, which matches up the best European women's club sides.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the country's so big, and we get some games in against Canada, but it's so hard for a lot of these women to travel. But yeah, oh my gosh, how amazing would that be to see?
Margaret Leone takes the mark out on the wing position here for San Francisco. Likes to go for a run and kicks it long. Over the head there of Blecker on that occasion. Just going around and couldn't control it there. Was Musser as the siren sounds. And that is full time here on Field 4 in the last game of day 1 of 2 of the USAFL National Championships for 2022. 7-11-53 to no score. 53 to no score. San Francisco defeating New York, and I think it's left a few of us gobsmacked. We were all expecting, we certainly expected San Francisco to be favourites. I think we were expecting a big challenge to be laid down by New York. Certainly can't blame them for lack of effort, but my goodness, San Francisco, how much they are a class above.
Yeah, it's New York has so many weapons as well, but it's just once you go down by a few goals, it's so hard to get that momentum. And I mean, San Francisco just, like I was saying, set that wall up. It just locked that ball. It's so hard to get it over that when they have so much depth.
And with the rain starting to come down and a storm starting to come in, that's our cue, I think, to wrap up. So, Lawrence Kosnechny, thank you very much for your help for this game. Best of luck for the remainder of your Division 2 matchups tomorrow. And hopefully we might even catch you on commentary for Day 2.
I think I will be. Yeah, I look forward to it.
I'm Peter Holden on behalf of the commentary team here and, of course, the production crew at Grow Live Sportscast. Thanks for joining us on USAFL.com. We hope that weather will be better tomorrow. We'll join you from 9 a.m. USAFL.com on Field 4. Bye for now.